Exploring ethical philosophies, virtue ethics to utilitarianism. Ethical theories provides guidance for making decisions in situations where moral complexities arise. Ethical framework are tools to help us navigate difficult moral dilemmas and improve our ability to reason morally. Ethical philosophy is the study of what is morally good and bad, right and wrong, is the subject matter of ethics, often known as moral philosophy. Any theory or system of moral principles is also included under this definition. Virtue ethics is a philosophical approach that emphasizes the cultivation of positive qualities such as kindness and honesty. Virtue ethics places great importance on the cultivation of goodness and honesty in our lives to the point where they become ingrained in our character and consistently guide our decision-making. Virtue ethics is one of the three major approaches in normative ethics along with deontology and consequentialism. Virtue ethics deals with broader ethical questions. It is a skill, a way of living, and that's something that can only be really learned through experience. Aristotle said, having virtue just means doing the right thing at the right time, in the right way, in the right amount, towards the right people. Yet, doing virtue action once does not automatically make a person virtuous. To be virtuous, one must acquire the habit of acting virtuously in different situations. Being virtuous is actually acting in accordance with a virtue, and also being in the correct mental state.
Natural law ethics. Ethics rooted in human nature. According to natural law ethics, actions are considered morally right when they are in harmony with the needs of human being and promote their well-being. Natural law ethics proposes that ethical principles are derived from a comprehensive understanding of needs and desires inherent to human nature. It advocates for the promotion of action that enhances overall well-being. Natural law ethics is a moral framework that assists in determining what actions are right or wrong. It does this by assessing whether these actions contribute to the improvement of human lives. In other words, it ensures that ethical decisions are in line with the needs and well-being of human beings. So, natural law is a moral theory which asserts that there is a moral code which applies to all humans and exists within our nature. Natural law maintains that these rules of right and wrong are inherent in people and are not created by society or court judges. Deontological ethics, duty and rules. Deontological ethics is a moral framework that emphasizes the importance of following rules and fulfill one's duty, even in the face of challenges. It prioritizes doing what is morally right above all else. Deontological ethics place great importance on following established rules, which means that we should fulfill our obligations even when faced with personal challenges. Deontological ethics guides us to make decisions by focusing on our moral obligations and following established rules without considering the potential consequence. So, deontological ethics derive from the Greek word deon or duty. It means that the moral right action should be performed even if the immediate result of it is negative. For example, if I tell the truth because I know I must respect the other person, then I act out of duty, and my action is right.
So utilitarianism, pursuit of the greatest good. So utilitarianism is a moral theory that seeks to maximize the overall happiness of individuals by considering the positive outcomes and negative repercussions or repercussions of actions. So ang utilitarianism nagasik ukon gapangita sang good nga pleasure ukon kamayuhan or kalipay para sa isa ka individual regardless man sa outcome o kung resulta sang isa ka sitwasyon, either positive result or unintended consequence or unexpected nga negative result sang isa ka actions. Kay also ang utilitarianism, it is a kind ng doctrine that actions are right if they are useful or for the benefit of majority. Useful siya kag ma-contribute sa kadam-an. So, ang utilitarianism also is a kind of theory of morality that advocates actions that foster happiness and oppose actions that cause unhappiness. So, ang utilitarianism nag-promote sang the greatest amount of good for the greatest number of people. Like for example, if you are choosing ice cream for yourself, then the utilitarian view is that you should choose the flavor that will give you the most pleasure na manamit. So if you enjoy chocolate but hate vanilla, you should choose chocolate for the pleasure it will bring and avoid vanilla because it will bring displeasure. So the difference ng duha ka flavor is that kay gusto mo ang chocolate kay naghatag sa isang pleasure kag enjoyment kung na namitan ka. So, ang vanilla, kung after mo nasaburan, hindi naman manami sa imo nga panabor. So, muna siya ang utilitarian view na nagapili ka sang butang nga naghatag sa imo sang happiness o pleasure. So, tungod nga namitan ka sang chocolate, so ang utilitarian view is that ginpili mo kung ano ang mas namit, so ginpili mo ang chocolate. So, next, utilitarianism is a moral theory that places importance on actions that maximize happiness for the greatest number of individuals. Utilitarianism is also reflects a genuine concern for the overall welfare of society. So, manami siya mga kind sang theory nag-reflect siya sang manami or pure nga concern para sa kabilugan nga kaayuhan sang isa ka society. So, galing ang issues kay some critics believe that if we only prioritize happiness, we might overlook important things like individual rights and fairness. So, this poses a challenge to the practicality of the theory. So, other nga naghambal galing no, nga kung i-prioritize na ang kalipayan o kung mga butang nga makatag kalipay sa isa ka individual, posible nga hindi manatisaran or ma-overlook ang mga importante nga mga butang kagaya sang pagkakapantay-pantay. Like for example, di sa isa ka pumuluyo no kag ang mga nagaserbisyo didra no ang kapitan nagjiwat sang isa ka event no kag galing hindi tanan nasadyahan kay half lang ang nahatagan sang kalipay or na half lang di ang nasadyahan but then ang half sinan niya wala na sadyahan or nakahatag sang satisfaction or beneficial or meaning hindi beneficial dala sa half sina. Muna siya nga hindi siya nagiging fair ng issue sina dira kay for example ang half lang dira diyang sadyahan kay kabaton sila sang namin na kind of services. Walang others na nakapil sang opposite kay wala na tisaran kag galing kay mas nagaka-focus siya sa happiness lang limukag ng butang makaayo sang isa ka individual or kabilugan galing hindi man galing tanan mahatagan or mahatagan sang maayo nga ang sang service di kag hindi tanan makabatsyag sang satisfaction nga ginatawag. So muna siya. Next, ethical theories share certain similarities and exhibit differences. So, when we compare these theories, we can see that each one has its own distinct or kinalain-lain emphasis on different aspects such as virtue, kung kaayuhan, kamayuhan, duty, consequences, or resulta, either positive or negative, and human nature when it comes to deciding what is morally right or wrong. Ang human nature is the set of characteristics that makes us human. So, it might include a capacity for reason and emotion, our ability to communicate, or our potential for creativity. So there are different theories that look at ethics in different ways. Virtue ethics nag-focus sa on being good, natural law ethics nag-base sa human needs, and deontological ethics is about fulfilling duties, and utilitarianism is concerned with achieving happiness. So let's go on sa guidance for ethical decision making. So these theories provide structures that assist people and communities in dealing with difficult moral situations. So they offer principles and guidelines that can be used to make ethical decisions. So ang guidance meaning naghatag sang pagtuytoy ka-guide para sa ethical na decision na making. So for example, ang isa ka tawo nagagamuhan sang iyang current nga ginadeal nga moral nga kansang sitwasyon. So ang guidance for ethical na decision making nag-offer ni sa mga guidelines or principles na maka-help na makahatag sang benefit no to make sang ethical nga kansang decision. So next, moral. So when we say moral, concerned with the principles of right and wrong behavior and the goodness or badness of human character. So moral intentions. So every theory highlights the significance of intentions and motivations that drive our actions. So do you understand that ethical conduct is not only based on the results, but also on the underlying motives behind those actions. So, dili niya tawag na moral intentions. So, intentions daw kag motivations ang nagka-cause o nagtulod sa aton nga buhaton ang kind nga actions. So, when we say the ethical conduct, meaning ang pag-ubra, paghimo ng isa ka butang. So, ginambal diri nga ethical conduct is not only nga nagabase sa resulta, kundi sa pinakamotibo sa likod sang actions na ginhimo sang isa ka tawo. So for example, nagduka sang madamo nga chores sa panimalay. So nga bala ginhimo mang ulubrahon sa imong panimalay. Katungod bala nang i-fulfill mong obligasyon mo sa imong panimalay o kung ang pinakamotibo mo is impress sa nanay mo para pasugtan ka mag-outing ka mo upod sang friends mo. So duwa lang ina no naghimo ka sang obligasyon mo tungod na i-fulfill mo ang imong obligasyon, ang responsibilidad mo bilang anak o kung parte sang pamilya sa imong panimalay o kung ginobra mo ang namindok ka, nang laba ka, nagluto ka tungod gusto mo impress sa nanay mo para pasugtan ka nga mag-outing. So yung isang ginatawag na motibo o kung intention na nagatulod sa aton sa pag-ubra sang isa ka butang. On the focus of evaluation. So virtue ethics focuses on the character and virtues of the individual making the decision. It emphasizes the development of virtuous traits and habits. So maguna sa dang character, pagkatao, features, attributes, malatasan. Then ang virtues ang kamayuhan or ang kaayuhan, goodness ng isa ka individual. So, ang virtue ethics ay nag-emphasize ang development of virtuous traits ng personal character ng isa ka tawo kag habits. Natural law ethics. It centers on the inherent human nature and what aligns with human flourishing. It emphasizes principles that are considered objectively good for humanity. So, for example of natural law includes the idea that it is universally accepted and understood that killing a human being is wrong. But however, it is also universally accepted that punishing someone for killing that person is right. So, natural law ethics, we all know ang pagpatay is mali. So, but then, ang pagpunish o kung paghatag sang pagsilot o tataw sang punishment sa tao nga nagpatay is right. So, ang law ethics nag-focus sa pag-improve, sa pag-flourish isang isa ka tao kag kung ano pagit ang makonsider nga objectively nga pwede nga kamayuhan para sa humanity. Deontological ethics. revolves around duties, obligations, and adherence to moral rules or principles. It's concerned with acting in accordance with predetermined rules. So deontology is an ethical theory that uses rules to distinguish o kung makita ang right from wrong. Like for example, keeping promises. If you have made a promise, you must keep it. For example, you might borrow bisang kwarta sa isa ka tao tapos ang promise nga by done, pero wala mo gin bayaran pabalik. So, making false promises is considered wrong. So, ang deontological ethics mas more na sila nga nag-adhere or mas more sila nag-focus sa duties, obligations na dapat tumanon kag dapat nga himuon, no? Amo siya nga kind nga ethics nga nag-focus sa moral nga rules, yung principles, kay mas nag-concern sila sa acting in accordance with predetermined rules. So mas more sila nag-focus sa rules or principles. Next, utilitarianism. It focuses on the consequences of actions and their impact on overall happiness or utility. So it seeks to maximize happiness or minimize suffering. So utilitarianism is about people who care about everyone capable of suffering and capable of making their lives better by improving it. So it also refers to those actions that maximize pleasure and minimize pain. Next, we have let's proceed. The role of virtue. Virtue ethics places a strong emphasis on the development of virtuous character traits such as honesty, compassion, and courage. The focus is on becoming a good person. So tama naman ka-clear ang definition ng virtue ethics. So ang pinaka-focus niya is to become or becoming a good na person. So mas more siyang nag-focus sa kamayuhan, sa kayuhan ng isa ka tao. So virtue ethics mainly deals with the honesty and morality of a person. So it states that practicing good habits such as honesty, generosity makes a moral and virtuous person. It guides a person without specific rules for resolving the ethical complexity. Next, natural law ethics. While virtues are important, natural law ethics primarily focuses on actions that align with human nature and contribute to human well-being. So virtues is important. Galing kay ang natural law ethics nag-focus ng actions that align sa human nature kag ang makakontribute sa well-being din mismo sang isa ka tao. So mas more ang actions kag mas more ang resulta kag ang pag-take sang step, pagbuhat sang isa ka bagay nga makakontribute sa kamayuhan sang katawan o sang individual. Next, deontological ethics. While virtues are acknowledged, deontological ethics places more emphasis on following moral rules and fulfilling duties regardless of personal virtues. So, ang deontological ethics mas more nga naghatag sang emphasis sa pagsunod sang moral nga rules, fulfill sang duties, regardless man sang personal nga virtues. Like for example, sa Ten Commandments, people call it For example, sa Ten Commandments, people call it a rule-based ethic, as it is the universal declaration of human rights. So you have to follow sang muni nga rules or commandments. Kaya muni ang pinakabasihan o kung ang ginasandigan sang human nga rights, regardless man sa aton nga personal man nga virtues. So mas more niya ang deontological sa pagsunod sa moral nga rules, pag-fulfill dito sang duties mismo sang bilang isa ka individual. And next and last is utilitarianism. Virtues are not central in utilitarianism. The focus is on the consequences of actions and maximizing overall happiness. So, ang utilitarianism, mas more na nag-focus gapon sa consequences, resulta sa isa ka actions, And the same thing, naga-maximize gihapon sang kabilugan nga happiness sang isa ka society. So, mas more sila nga naga-focus dito gihapon sang resulta kung konsekwensya sang isa ka actions nga ginbuhat. Kag the same thing, no, mas more naga-focus sa happiness kag pleasure gihapon.
Determining ethical actions. So now, let's determine ethical actions in the context of virtue ethics. Ethical decisions are guided by the development of virtuous character traits. The right action is the one that a virtuous person would take. In a simpler thought, it is to do things according to one person's moral standing. An example would be an individual who chooses to pursue a career path based on their own values rather than what society expects them to do. In doing so, they are taking responsibility for their own decisions and showing strength of character, which is an important aspect of virtue ethics. Ethical actions in natural law ethics. Ethical actions are determined by evaluating whether they are aligned with human nature and contribute to human well-being. In other words, natural law is derived from the connection between human morality and the law laid down by an authority. The human morality is gauged from the ability to discern what is right and evil, and it helps in a peaceful cohesion among the people. For example, the prohibition of murder is a clear embodiment of natural law. This law, unlike civil or criminal laws, is universally accepted and understood without the need for formal legislation. It is inherently understood that taking another human life unjustly is morally wrong. Now let's go to deontological ethics. Ethical actions are determined by adhering to predefined moral rules or principles, regardless of the consequences. In simpler words, if an action is not good morally but can lead to good outcomes, it's okay, such as shooting an intruder. Killing is wrong. To protect your family, protecting them is good. So actions are intrinsically right or wrong, irrespective of their outcomes. And lastly, utilitarianism. Ethical actions are determined by assessing the consequences of actions and choosing the option that maximizes overall happiness or utility. Let's go with the example, recycling and reducing waste. Recycling and reducing waste is an example of utilitarianism because it minimizes the negative impact on the environment and helps conserve resources for future generations. By taking these actions, individuals contribute to the overall well-being of the planet and its inhabitants. Individual versus consensual focus. Now, let us first know what is individual focus and consensual focus. Individual focus. This perspective places primary importance on the moral character of the individual making the decision. It considers whether the person's actions align with virtuous character traits such as honesty, integrity, and kindness. And consensual focus shifts the emphasis to the outcomes or consequences of an action when determining its morality. It assesses whether an action leads to favorable or unfavorable results, often measured in terms of overall happiness or utility. Virtue ethics, primarily concerned with individual character development and virtues. Virtue ethics can be determined as individual focused because it focuses on individuals' moral character. Second, natural law ethics focuses on what is objectively good for humanity based on human nature. Meanwhile, this can be considered as consequential focused because it determines right and wrong based on alignment with human nature and common good. It assesses if the action leads to good or bad results measured in terms of utility. The third one is deontological ethics. Emphasizes following moral rules and fulfilling duties regardless of the consequences. We can also consider it as consequential focus. In this sense, person is following the moral rules and duties regardless if the outcomes is good or bad. And lastly, utilitarianism emphasizes maximizing overall happiness or utility, focusing on the consequences of actions, and it is considered as consequential focused because it prioritizes the greatest overall happiness. It doesn't matter if you did the right or wrong thing, but if it maximizes the happiness of all, it is still okay. In summary, the individual focus centers on the moral character of the person, while the consequential focus centers on the results or consequences of actions when evaluating their ethicality. These two perspectives represent different angles through which ethical decisions can be analyzed.
Real-world examples illustrating ethical theories. Ethical theories play a crucial role in guiding us through real-life dilemmas, such as providing assistance to others in times of crisis. They help us understand the various aspects of complex situations and provide valuable insights. Understanding these theories can help us make better decisions when faced with difficult situations, providing us with a helpful structure to follow. Different theories provide distinct viewpoints, which can result in varying ethical conclusions when dealing with intricate dilemmas. Ethical theories provide us with the tools to tackle modern-day challenges like technology and climate change. They encourage us to engage in meaningful conversations and find effective solutions. Virtue ethics. Mahatma Gandhi nonviolent resistance. Mahatma Gandhi, a notable proponent of virtue ethics, demonstrated the power of cultivating virtuous character traits in the pursuit of social justice. Through his philosophy of satyagraha, means truth force, Gandhi emphasized the importance of nonviolence, honesty, and personal integrity in seeking justice and freedom for India. His commitment to these virtues guided his actions during India's struggle for independence from British colonial rule. By practicing nonviolent resistance and promoting unity, Mahatma Gandhi became a leader to his country. He pursuing seeking justice and freedom by seeing that his fellow people struggle from British rule. He became the voice of India's people, just like the police, attorney, president, and others. Through their actions, they managed the country to stop the violence. They wanted peace in giving justice for the people who abuse. Being a good leader to your country, peoples unite and can change their attitudes. Natural law ethics, human rights advocacy. Human rights activism aligns with the principles of natural law ethics. Advocates work to protect fundamental rights that are inherently connected to human nature, such as the right to life, freedom, and dignity. Organizations like Amnesty International focus on promoting these universal rights, asserting that actions contributing to the well-being and dignity of individuals are ethically justifiable according to natural law principles. To do good, avoid evil. That means we're free what we want to do, but there's still a consequence. Just like defending yourself when you've stabbed someone accidentally just to defend yourself. Then natural law came to prove what's right and wrong you do. You have human rights to find a lawyer. Then the court judge will justify by it if you're really innocent.
Deontological ethics, medical confidentiality. In the medical field, deontological ethics plays a vital role in upholding principles like patient confidentiality, a doctor's duty to maintain patient privacy, and uphold the Hippocratic Oath's tenets stands as a paramount ethical obligation. Even if revealing patient information could prevent harm, deontological ethics requires doctors to prioritize their duty to protect confidential medical information. So, deontological ethics means an action is considered morally good because of some characteristic of the action itself,
not because the product of the action is good. And deontological ethics and medical confidentiality, the doctor must guarantee the patient complete confidentiality about all the data he or she gathered. The term confidentiality refers to everything a doctor has learned while practicing their profession, including whatever they may have seen, heard, or understood, in addition to information they were given in confidence. Utilitarianism, public health policies. Utilitarianism is frequently considered in the formulation of public health policies. When determining whether to implement a vaccination campaign, for instance, policymakers weigh the overall happiness and well-being of the population against potential risks. If the benefits of vaccination increase public health, reduce disease spread, outweigh the harms, utilitarian principles support the decision to proceed. So, the goal of public health, like utilitarianism, is to maximize the existence of a good, in this case, the population's health. For instance, it's crucial to have a method for quickly deciding which patient to tend to first when dealing with numerous concurrent patients in the emergency room. So, an interpretation of rule utilitarianism that permits quick, intuitive judgments may be used to defend triage rule.